welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday, November the 16th, 2017. We've made it. It's another week. It's another technical alpha. And we've got some changes happening around here.
Changes.
Changes. Jeff, you're still muted on Discord.
Shouldn't change.
Yeah, nothing astronomical or anything like that, but we do have some changes coming up for Technical Alpha. Let me just get this over here, and please God, tell me that everything is as it should when I press this button.
On a bright note,
hey, that works.
We are getting closer to our $5,000. I think this might be an all-time high for us right now.
Really?
Well, besides that one time that we hit the 5K and then it went away very quickly. But it's moving up, so thank you guys.
This is true. This is true. Yeah, oh yeah, that's right. I did see that we had edged closer. Not dramatically, but I saw the number go up, which was always good to see.
Speaking of role-playing and what will happen at $5,000, I actually got something that came in.
Star Trek, the role-playing. Oh yeah, right. They have the role-playing.
This thing is apparently, like, I was looking through some of it. It's actually pretty sick.
Oh yeah.
I'm not saying we're gonna do it on the podcast. I might do some stuff on my own, but you know, role-playing stuff could be fun.
Role-playing in the most boring universe known to man.
Jeff, you can make some crazy shit happen in that boring universe.
You could divert all power, all auxiliary power to the force fields for every situation. Take out life support. Who needs it? Fuck it. Life support to the forward deflectors. We need to make it happen.
Diplomatic bullshit. You blow up that civilian ship because they looked at you funny.
But as far as changes to the podcast go, we're trying to make the podcast shorter. We realized that no matter how much you guys might like us, people that don't know us probably don't want to listen to us for that long. So we're gonna condense. We're shooting for 2 hours, which is a good marker to hit. And we're not going to split side A, side B into separate files anymore. They'll still technically exist because I like saying side A and side B. I think it's dope. But we're not going to split the file into two different releases for the week because it wasn't serving the purpose that we were experimenting with it. We gave it a good long run and it wasn't doing anything. So we're going back to, yes, 2 hours in quotation marks. We're going to do our best to hit that mark. Also, I have this entire thing, for those of you on iTunes, this means, or wherever else, it doesn't mean anything to you, but for those on YouTube and watching live on Twitch, I've moved the entire podcast to the streaming PC to try and alleviate some of the audio nonsense that we've been having with the live show. And so hopefully this does it. I'll be keeping an eye on chat if you guys want to let me know if one of us is way louder or way quieter than the other, because once I have those levels locked in, I shouldn't, barring some other crazy nonsense that Discord comes up with, because we're in a 2 PC environment now, it shouldn't change. Like, the audio will be identical every week. So just let me know. I'll diddle the bars and stuff while we're going. And that's about it. Also, technicalalpha.audio, for those who haven't heard yet, once again, the website is updated. It is looking great. It's functioning great. You can get all the podcasts there. You can listen to them, download them, speed up, slow down, however fast you want to listen to them as well. And then all of the Patreon producers automatically updated on that. Well, you know what? I didn't check because we got a new Patreon producer this week. So I'm going to take a little peek-see.
Wait, that thing can slow down our voices?
Yes, it can. So I could sound Barry White again.
Yeah, so you can get Nova White all over again?
Exactly.
Entire podcast?
Exactly.
Ah.
Also, it did automatically update. It works, gentlemen. Little golf clap for the fine people behind the scenes at technicalalpha.audio.
You mean the one fine person and Simon? Nikki and Simon.
The one guy other than Simon behind the scenes.
The one god.
Making it all happen. So there you go. So that works too. Definitely go check it out. I'm super happy about it, and it will give you guys a good platform to to spread the word about the podcast.
I don't know if I asked last week. Like, does Nikki do this like for other people, like full-time stuff, or is this like just a side thing he did?
I certainly hope so, because he's pretty fucking good at it. This would be a wasted talent if he wasn't doing this shit for a living. Then he is pissing it away, because he could be making good money doing what he does. Simon wants to work with him now. You're gonna probably want to work with him.
No, dude did fireworks. So if anyone
in a very short window of time
for stuff like that, we can definitely look into kind of pitching you in his direction.
Mr. MaximusBlack.
Yeah.
Hit me up with the sound of opening your 350th loot box and still not getting the one thing you've been trying to get for like 2 straight months.
Fuck!
It's time to spend some more money.
Yes. Give me more.
Time to spend some more money. Gentlemen, this has been a week where even if there was other news, nobody cared. Because all that mattered... all that mattered was that every publication made sure that everyone else understood that EA was fucking everything up as hard as humanly possible with Star Wars Battlefront 2. We've kind of touched on this in the past, but it's kind of come to a head. It's kind of come to a head now. We've
talked about it in the past.
We have reached peak madness with this. I think that EA has actually struck the chord. They've been plucking other chords in the past, and other companies have as well, but this seems to be the one, I guess, the stupid ass cliche straw that broke the gamer's back scenario, because the internet basically exploded when this went down. For those of you who have lived under a rock, or got, the poles outside their house delivering internet service got struck by lightning, or if you're part of the Amish, if so, then thank you for making great furniture. EA has basically taken Battlefront 2 and turned it into a gacha game for a mobile phone, in terms of how much free-to-play monetization they have been trying to cram in to Battlefront 2, and the manner in which they've implemented it. So, at the start of the week, it was, just to make a long story short, because everyone can find this information out in more detail real easy, despite the fact that you could play Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader in the first game, just off the rip. In the second one, they were like, "Ha! You guys like playing them, don't you? What if we put them behind some walls?" And so, they
not little walls either. China walls,
very big
walls.
They were keeping the Mongolians out with this shit. They wanted that to be as impenetrable a fortress as humanly possible. So they said, "Fuck you." Somebody did the math. You're looking at roughly, if you're paced on average, 40 hours per character to unlock those bad boys. And that's
per character?
Per character. That's not both. That's per character.
That's ridiculous.
That's even worse than I thought.
So it's an $80 game, then you slap on $80 of work to unlock characters you played in the past, and this is Star Wars, so you know people want to play Vader and Luke. So they do that. They do that under the guise of, as they responded on Reddit to somebody's criticism, and rightfully so, criticizing the madness of that in the first place. It was to instill a sense of accomplishment, Jeff. Pride. It was to make you feel... Did you read the Reddit response?
No.
Oh, it was magic. Oh, it's pure, unadulterated magic.
It actually merits like a reading on the cast for everyone, I think.
Oh, do you have the link you can send me on Discord?
It's actually it's not long enough, but it's not that long. I'll pull it up real quick.
Because it's magical. Not only is it bad, it's the type of bad that you almost want to get the guy fired for it. It's that kind of bad. Like usually you try and word things in such a way it doesn't make it look like you're literally running a racket with your video game. This guy didn't even bother try. He just kind of fucking just went with it. But it was all centered around The fact that it was supposed to be, a sense of accomplishment to unlock these things, etc., etc. That comment. Oh, is that it there? Panic. All right. So here's the response.
Where's the post at?
I'll put it in Skype.
Here's the response. And just for context, this is now the most downvoted Reddit comment of all time by orders of magnitude. It's not even close. I don't know if it ever hit 700,000 downvotes because it was pretty close.
680 or something.
680 something thousand downvotes. So, the intent is to provide players with a sense of pride and accomplishment for unlocking different heroes. As for cost, we selected initial values based upon data from the open beta and other adjustments made to milestone rewards before launch. Among other things, we're looking at average per-player credit earn rates on a daily basis, and we'll be making constant adjustments to ensure that players have challenges that are compelling, rewarding, and of course, attainable via gameplay. We appreciate the candid feedback and the passion the community has put forth around the current topics here on Reddit, our forums, and across numerous social media outlets. Our team will continue to make changes and monitor community feedback and update everyone as soon and as often as we can. So, as I said, most downvoted, 700,000 as of this morning. Okay, so 700,000 downvotes on Reddit alone. People weren't particularly pleased with how this all played out, and understandably so. It was a bit, it was like a slap in the face, a kick in the nuts, you know, it was all of that and more. So this happens, not long after EA goes, guys, all right, they come out of the saloon with their hands in the air. All right, guys, you got us? We're gonna reduce this by 75%. So now it's only going to take about 10 hours per character to unlock, which I'm cool. Okay, 10 hours per great. Then but without telling anyone at the time, they also reduced the amount of credits you earn for completing the campaign by 75%.
Wow.
So it's a bit of a wash in some regards.
My personal favorite was, and this response was the one response that I feel like ended the thread to EA's response.
Okay.
I don't remember the guy's name on Reddit, but he's a god. His exact response was, I feel like my pride and accomplishment has been diminished by 75%.
That's not bad. But wait, Jeff. Wait, there's more. So, Boogie, you would know the YouTuber Boogie. I'm guessing, you know, he's fairly sizable individual. Francis, the character, does very well for himself. He's streaming Battlefront 2, and he's playing arcade mode because, as it turns out, he really just enjoys arcade mode, having a great time. Everyone's having a lovely time on the stream. It's all fine and gravy. All of a sudden, he finishes this match. Yeah, there's fanfare because he finished it in kind of a cool way, and like, yeah, what? And then the screen comes up and says, "You will be able to earn more credits in 3 hours." So they put a soft cap on how many credits you can earn in arcade mode, and then they give you a time limit like it's a fucking mobile game for Farmville before you can get more credits earned in arcade mode. And on top of that, apparently, what I've heard is that hour amount scales. It goes up. Apparently it's like 3 hours, 9 hours, 12 hours, 24 hours, or something along those lines. I won't say that's
literally like a friggin' mobile game gate.
I won't say that is absolute fact, but I was told that when I was streaming yesterday and we were talking about it. It wouldn't shock me if that's the case, because they do that in mobile games as well. But even if they didn't, and it was just the 3 hours, that's still fucking crazy to me. He was sitting there going, "Oh, I'm sorry for enjoying your game, EA. Fuck you. I'm sorry I was playing the game in the way that I enjoyed, and now you're just gonna cut me off. And now you want me to go play this other mode with everyone else so that I realize how shit my gear is, so I feel compelled to buy fucking loot boxes to get better gear to play with these people because I get a 3 hour fucking cap over here on arcade mode. I'm sorry, EA. Let me blow you a little softer so that you can enjoy the experience more." Like, it just... madness. So this whole week has been about that, and it's kind of blown up even more because now Belgium's gaming commission, excuse me, is looking into both Overwatch got caught in the crossfire now, Overwatch and Battlefront 2, trying to discern whether or not they feel like this is gambling. And so,
well, it is.
It is. It is. More so on the side of Battlefront than Overwatch. Overwatch is entirely cosmetic.
Both.
But
it's entirely cosmetic. It's
but it's still gambling. But the out for Blizzard is everything's cosmetic. Nothing affects the gameplay, and so there's no massive incentive for gameplay improvement to go and buy a bunch of crates. Whereas in Battlefront, that's obviously
much stronger motivation.
But do they offer those skins and stuff to just buy in the marketplace for a dollar amount?
In Overwatch?
Yeah.
No, so what happens is anytime you get duplicates or anything, you earn gold, and you can use the gold to pick up any skin that you haven't gotten. And they have some cheap skins that come out with everything and large ones. The only ones you can't get are the event ones, which are time gated. So if you have enough credits in that window, you can get it. Otherwise, you can't.
That's actually my biggest. That would be the loophole for them if they wanted to stick gambling on Overwatch, is that all skins are not available at all times for purchase with in-game currency. Exactly. So while on average you don't have to, you can do everything with in-game currency. If there's an event going on and you can't. And you know that after a certain amount of time, you're not going to be able to get these skins.
You're going to gamble for it.
You're going to go buy some fucking crates, right? If you really wanted it. Or at the very least, it obviously incentivizes that you go and do that stuff.
Yep.
So I guess... I guess... Really, to just expand on it just a little bit, I wanted to get general thoughts on it, and if you guys think that this might flag other companies to avoid this kind of, in AAA titles anyway, where you're already paying $80, if some companies might sidestep this because of the firestorm of sorts that's kind of built up around Battlefront 2.
I don't know. I don't think there's a whole lot of other companies that are doing to the length of what EA is doing. So, obviously EA has a lot of pulling power. They have, they're using a really famous IP like Star Wars to sell characters or force you to play so much like of their favorite character. It's not even, it's so bad. It's a bad look on everybody. It's a bad look on Disney. It's a bad look on EA. It's just a bad look. It's bad press. That guy should be fired for sure. But I don't know what you guys are looking at.
EA literally just posted a thing on their Twitter about this, like just
3 minutes ago. Just
9:27 p.m. This comes up, so I'm going to give this a little readsy for you guys.
Oh shit!
Yeah, just
today we turned off in-game purchases for Star Wars Battlefront. The game is built on your input and will continue to evolve and grow. Get fucked.
Oh my goodness!
I bet you Disney came in and said, "Guys, fix this now." Star Wars is coming out in weeks. Fix this.
They can't have this. They can't have this happening leading up. So here's the full thing. I guess I'll read this just for the sake of keeping it going here. Thank you to everyone in our community for being the passionate fans that you are. Our goal has always been to create the best possible game for all of you, devoted Star Wars fans and game players alike. We've also had an ongoing commitment to constantly listen, tune, and evolve the experience as it grows. You've seen this with both the major adjustments and polish we have made over the past several weeks. But as we approach the worldwide launch, it's clear that many of you feel that there are still challenges in the design. We've heard the concerns about the potentially giving players unfair advantages, and we've heard that this is overshadowing an otherwise great game. It's a good thing that they've taken up that position themselves. This was never our intention. Sorry, we didn't get this right. We hear you loud and clear. So we're turning off all in-game purchases. We will now spend more time listening, adjusting, balancing, and tuning. This means that the option to purchase crystals in the game is now offline, and all progression will be earned through gameplay. The ability to purchase crystals in-game will become available at a later date, only after we've made changes to the game. We'll share more details as we work through this. We have created a game that is built on your input, and it will continue to evolve and grow. Star Wars Battlefront 2 is 3 times the size of the previous game. Not that that was difficult. Bringing to life a brand new Star Wars story, space battles, epic new multiplayer experiences across all 3 Star Wars eras with more free content to come. We want you to enjoy it, so please keep your thoughts coming, and we will keep you updated on our progress. So that just happened. Coming out of the general manager, basically, at DICE. So there you go. There you have it. Disney saw or heard the message. Disney went to EA, said, "Hey guys, stop fucking us up." Like now, right now. And there you have it.
As soon as that Reddit post went wild, Disney called up and was like,
"Game over.
Fixing this now."
So people on the online were basically tagging Disney in everything to try and make this all kind of come together. Because apparently Disney actively tracks a lot, anything that's tagged with Disney in it. And so
Very
everyone,
image-oriented.
yeah, and so they were very actively keeping on top of that stuff. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. As we speak, at this moment, you can't purchase anything in the game. And so there you go. Now the real question is,
are they adjusting gameplay credits in game?
Well, obviously they have to. I just realized I'm way louder than you guys somehow. But yeah, the real question is, I guess, where do they go from here? Because the entire system has basically been built around this monetary, it was built around it. That's what was the problem before, was that no matter how they tweaked it, without completely rebuilding it, people were going to have an unfair advantage. And so, yeah, that's crazy. Well, there you have it. I don't know what else to add to that, other than the fact that, it probably just should have.
I mean, there it is. They fucked up. They got called out on their shit.
Yeah.
And Disney called them up and said, "Fix this now, or someone's getting fired." And when I say somebody, all of you are done. And that's the show. That's literally what happened. And I bet you they're going to be walking on eggshells from here on out. Like they better really think about the next announcement they make about shit that costs money. This is where we're at now. And this is why that I got so jaded when it comes to video games and DLC, is because it was inevitable. And we're at the tipping point now where finally people are waking up and they're saying, okay, you know what? It's one thing for some DLC, but it's a whole nother thing when you're locking the main characters that are pushing the franchise behind massive amounts of gameplay or money. It's absolutely ludicrous.
So I'd actually be completely okay with this progression system if the game was free. If EA said, hey, we're putting Battlefront 2 out and you can just play the game, whatever they put in the progression and this whole crystal system, I actually would have been okay with. My main problem with this entire thing was it wasn't just like a $60 game. To get the full thing with everything initially, you'd have to drop like $80 US, which is like 100 whatever Canadian. And on top of that, you get hit with fucking time gates, credit gates, and then you have to do the whole progression. I'm like, no. That's the line. You either pick one side or the other. That's it.
Yeah.
Can't be like, we're going to take all your money, and then if you want more stuff, more money. That doesn't work.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's just it, right?
Hey, whatever just happened to making a game and releasing a game that people can play? Well, whatever happened to that? Like, it's ridiculous.
That's why I love studios like CD Projekt Red, which does The Witcher and stuff. They do like a big ass game release, and then maybe a couple months later, you'll get another big ass content release that you pay maybe $15 for. But that initial big ass game is like a full fledged everything in it, all good to go. And each of the releases after that are big experiences. We've been getting it to the point where they're just nickel and diming us for everything.
Well, here's how I've seen this whole process, and I don't think that EA accounted for the fact that if it got this bad, they'd probably have Disney knocking on their door. I don't think they ever saw it get to this point.
Yeah.
This is how I described it on my stream last night. I'll try and give the condensed version of it here. This was a door in the face technique of trying to open up the ceiling in the AAA game market for this kind of monetization. As we've
you can't do it to Star Wars, you can't do it anywhere.
No, so as it stands right now, people in the AAA or the let's say harder core game segment, not the mobile people that are used to paying all this money for all of these transactions, our ceiling for how much we will take in terms of developers trying to squeeze money from us is way lower. Like mobile is up here somewhere, and we're way lower down here in terms of what we'll accept. And the game for the last several years has been in this market. How do we get the AAA market up here with mobile? How? Because mobile is spending $2 million to make a game that makes $10 million a day, and we're down here making a $50 million game that doesn't do anywhere near those numbers, no matter how we try and make it happen. So how do we increase that ceiling? So EA comes out and gives the door in the face technique, and not the foot in the door, but door in the face, which is offer something so obscene nobody is going to want to accept that it happens, and then reel it back a little bit, making the people feel like they've had a voice in what's happened, and then the ultimate point in which they can extract money from them is higher than if they had just come in at a lower price point to begin with. If they had come out and given what we now have, excluding obviously the tweet that just happened, but if they came out and gave us the 75% reduced whatever, like that model, people would still be pissed off about it. They'd still say, no, this is no good, and then they'd have to go even lower. But in the case of how they handled this, they blew this shit out of the way. I mean, 80 fucking hours for 2 characters? They blew that shit way out into the stratosphere on a AAA title with a $25 starter pack and all this other like, they really went whole hog into this shit, right? Yeah. And then they said, all right, we'll meet you halfway. We'll do better than halfway. We'll meet you 75% of the way down the hill. And then a lot of people, you don't need to convince everyone. You just convince the majority, which they did with that 75% reduction. Is, you know what? It's still not great, but I can live with this because I really, really, really want to play this game. And so they used that technique. They created, for a very short period of time, a higher ceiling in the AAA market to approach that mobile monetization strategy. But obviously, the folks above them weren't so happy about that and decided to claw them back on it. Now, I
mean, it's negotiating 101.
If
you have a number you want, you're going to come in at some number anywhere between, 10 to 100% higher than that, depending on who you're negotiating with. Because then they're going to come back and give you a lower number, and that's your negotiation. So if you know that your party is going to probably meet your number, but they're going to come down in some fragment, you're just going to bump it up, being like, oh, they're going to see a shock value, and then they're just going to be like, oh yeah, no, we'll take the lower number. And just be
exactly.
Good with it. And they went too far. They got too greedy.
That's so here we are. But thank God, this is now what this inevitably ends up at. I'm not going to sit back and be comfortable with it until I see what their complete end goal is here. Because spinning into our next topic, I keep wanting to go to this computer to do that, but forgot it's over here now, is that EA recently just bought Respawn. They have the rights to Titanfall now. And my shot in the dark is that
before you dive into that, can I give a little bit more history on EA's relationship with Respawn?
Absolutely.
That's actually super important.
Absolutely. Give her a go.
So a while back, EA started a program, I think it was like the Creators Program or something, where they would work with smaller studios who wanted to produce bigger games. The studios they worked with would be much would remain independent and would remain and retain all creative control. But what they would do is get access to EA and their resources, and it would be kind of like a partnership, and EA would publish for them. So Respawn was like one of the initial studios to go in on this program, and they were also one of the biggest successes. Titanfall 1 was like a direct product of this, and then Titanfall 2, the follow-up, which, despite not selling well, was a phenomenal game and a really well-done game. So it kind of proved out that model of independent studios getting backing from big AAA studios from like a publisher relationship without necessarily having a lot of the hang-ups of the older development models.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I'll let Adam continue, and then we can go from there.
Yeah, so they buy up Respawn, and it happens, this news happens in and around the same time all of this Battlefront 2, nonsense is happening. And obviously where people's minds go next is when EA inevitably releases Titanfall 3.
Yeah.
How far
DLC,
are they going to?
baby!
I mean, if they went this route with Star Wars, how are they going to, do this with Titanfall? Because Titanfall is a property that has loads of promise. Now here's the crazier thing. Like, the Panic just gave you the relationship they had, right? So EA actually decided where to slot the release of Titanfall 2. And they slotted it, as we've discussed, I think, in the past, right between, was it Battlefield and
The Call of Duty game.
Call of Duty. They like within days on either side. So they lamb to the slaughter. Here you go, Titanfall 2. Have the worst possible release date in the history of release dates. Have fun. Get fucked. So now
there's some more interesting stuff about that, though.
Okay.
So that actually probably was part of the reason Respawn got bought up. So EA
that's where I was going with this. Yeah.
Yeah. EA had actually no intention and didn't want to buy Respawn. Like, it was an expensive purchase for them. They didn't want to do it. But another studio which Respawn had worked with for the Titanfall mobile game, Nexon, I'm sure you've all heard of them. Nexon came in and said, "Hey, this is a cool thing. Do you want to, we want to buy you." And Nexon made the original dollar amount offer of $400 million to buy Respawn. Unfortunately for Respawn, and unfortunately for EA, and probably unfortunately for all of us listening and who like Titanfall, it triggered a clause in the Respawn contract with EA, where EA gets a right of first refusal. They can match any offer made to purchase the studio and give them that dollar amount, and then they effectively take the purchase. So by Nexon coming in, Nexon probably figured EA's doing Battlefront, whatever. Let's make the offer now. But then EA was like, no, we're not letting Titanfall go that easily.
All right.
So they actually exercised their option on that contract.
Conspiracy theory. I'm going to give this to Jeff to say whether or not he thinks this is the where it goes.
I love me some conspiracy theories.
All right. Okay. So Titanfall 2 gets released, possibly argumentatively the worst release date of all time in the history of a game that should be AAA in Titanfall 2. To the point where it was talked about for weeks and weeks afterwards, months and months afterwards.
Press
that was like
releases
during
came
Call
out.
of Duty and shit, right? Like all at the same time.
So it was Call of Duty on one side, and this was in like a span of like 3 to 5 days on either side. Call of Duty on one side, Battlefield on the other. They're all first-person shooters. They stick Titanfall in the middle. Okay.
Yeah, like Battlefield, like Call of Duty came out on like a Friday right before the weekend. Battlefield 1 whatever came out the following weekend. Titanfall came out on Tuesday.
That's bad.
Yeah. So they do that. All right. And then Nexon comes in and does its thing, and then it kicks in that clause so that EA can buy up. Now Nexon came in, and they obviously didn't. Nexon's not going to go like anyone's offering first time. Nexon's not going to go super high. Nexon's going to come in on the low end, trying to sweep this up, but just enough to buy them.
Respawn's going to say, "Yeah, we want to."
Where
do this.
Respawn wants to go with them, but not so high that they're losing money, right? So, but that kicks the clause in, and then EA goes, "Aha! Let me just come on in here and buy you up. We fucked your game, which lowers your company's value. Nexon comes in, says, I'll save the day, but fuck you. Claus comes up. Now I get to buy your shit for even cheaper than I would have been able to beforehand, and now we own your ass. Now we can put all the loot boxes and all the subscription fees and fuck Titanfall so hard in the ass it's gonna be crying for its ancestors. What do you think? Do you think that's a possibility?
Oh, I think it's it's likable. I feel like that's what the outcome was. That's what happened.
For Palpatine bullshit right there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's crazy.
It's definitely what happened. Slimy fucks.
I hope not. Like, I hope the clause was written in such a way that Respawn's like, I hope it wasn't like on the offer coming in, EA can counter. It would be like, no, Respawn's like, yeah, we want to take this offer, and then EA can kind of come in and say, okay. I hope that was the case, but yeah. I read that news, and Adam and I were literally just talking about it, like, I think it was like a week ago or something, and we were both just like, oh my god.
Yep.
This is like a disaster.
And so, to move on from that, to go step further, again, not this computer, Adam, other computer, you can do this. It is, you have the ability to do this. EA and Microsoft, this is kind of like tied into the same news story.
Is this fuck on EA podcast today?
Damn, it's a lot of EA.
Well, all of it, because that's all that's people been talking about this week. Literally nothing else. People just, all the news releases EA related.
Oh my god.
Because they all seem to be like connected in some crazy, conspiracy theory type shit. So EA and Microsoft planning to release a not jointly necessarily, but they have both discussed it. And EA more recently came out and said that in the next few years, so with Microsoft around 2020, which means EA will probably be in and around that same time slot, coming out with a game streaming service, kind of like PlayStation has with PlayStation Now. So I just want to hand this to Jeff. Well, all the information that you have right now, I just want to hand this to Jeff. I just want to get your thoughts on does this sound like something to you? Does this sound like this is going somewhere to you? I want to have like your off the cuff reactions to this.
So, I mean, is it just like they're going to be able to go online and play a bunch of different EA games, or are they actually going to like make it so people are streaming?
It's Netflix for EA games.
I mean,
they already have that bullshit with like EA Access bullshit, or
no, but this is like you're streaming the game, like your console or whatever. You're not even running it. You're streaming it like with PlayStation Now.
Bullshit.
Yes, the same technology is on live in the all this stuff, whatever. But they're creating a service that's likely expanding Origin, and trying to, go that route.
Yeah, I can't say I'm a fan of it. I mean, it's just so fucking stupid. I mean, the things that EA come up with is just on another level of dumb. Are people demanding this? Like, people already don't give a fuck about your Star Wars game. Like, there's no way in hell I'm going to be playing EA games. Like, what games we get to play? Old Mass Effect games, like sports titles, Star Wars Battlefronts.
They had a lot of their franchises and titles on the surface, at least for the past couple of years. They have been really good, other than sorry, not recently, but like I would say about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, they had like a streak of really good game launches. Everything was good. EA was hitting it out of the park. And then I don't know if some management changed or whatever, but then that past 2 years, their stuff's gone to shit. They screwed up Mass Effect. Need for Speed recently came out and just got tanked. It was really bad. Like, I don't know. It's like they've been trying to monetize so much that things have just kind of gone to shit.
Yeah, I don't think people are crying for this type of service, and I can guarantee you that when it does come out, their new releases will not be available on this service. It'll be older catalog games, because that'll take away from the sales. Now, if they came out and said, "Hey guys, if you want to pay a monthly membership for this, and every game that we release, every single game,
That's it.
You will be able to play the DLC for the games will come in with the subscription, all that other stuff. Then maybe at that point, it might make sense for EA to do something like that, because at that point, people can play as many games they want. If they don't like a game, they can just not play it and move on to the next. They can go and play as much EA as they want, because there are EA fanboys out there. I'm not one of them, but believe it or not, they do sell games. And, you know, apparently people get really angry about things like Star Wars, and it gets downvoted the most in the history of downvotes. So, you know, I guess. But if they're not releasing brand new games on the market on that all at the same time, and they're making you pay for DLC, and also on top of that, the membership price would have to be very, very, like, it'd have to be a very well priced.
It'll be $15 a month. Right now, this is November the 16th, 2017. It will be $15 a month just to have access to EA games and nothing else.
You know what? At $15 a month, makes sense if you get every single game released and the DLC to go with it.
But
here's the kicker.
Yeah.
What happens now about people that don't buy this shit and they go out and they buy a game? Would they then be charging people for DLC on that game? Or is DLC within the membership going to be a bonus? As in, you're going to have to pay for the DLC on top of the membership, because they'd have to distinguish between the two. Because not everybody's going to buy a membership, because some people just play one IP. That's it. They play Mass Effect. That's the show. You know, EA's dead to them otherwise. That's it. So they're obviously not going to buy the membership unless Mass Effect is coming out with a bunch of DLC that comes available on this platform, and so that when they weigh their options in terms of cost, even though they're only playing one game, is worth it because they would have spent the money anyway when the game comes out. So it really just all depends. But in general, I don't think it's all that great.
The only thing I kind of, and I know EA has been kind of floating the idea, the only thing I kind of really see the whole subscription model working for are like the sports games. And I feel like that there's a way to benefit both the consumer and EA with that, because every year they're doing like a Madden and an NHL or NBA or whatever, right? If they say, instead of giving us like $60 once a year, give us like $5 or $6 a month and we'll give you a Madden, and like, but that Madden will be constantly updated. You don't have to constantly go and get like 2016 or 2017 or whatever.
It's the Adobe Creative Cloud of Madden.
Yeah, we'll give you the roster updates. You know, we don't necessarily need to deliver, and it's good for EA because then they don't have to like necessarily do like massive engine overhauls or like institute major new features all the time. They can do like the roster updates, and they can like incrementally kind of like build the game as a service. I'm actually okay with that for games like that. That makes sense, because honestly, how much improvement is there in a sports game year to year? The rules don't fundamentally change. You might want to add a few features. The only major things that you're going to get are the roster things. So if EA is like, we'll charge you $6 a month and you get your Madden, EA, instead of getting $60, they'll get like $72 a year. And, you know, the players will be happy because they can be like, I'll play Madden. And if, you know, if they're super addicted to it and they're going to play it all the freaking time, EA makes their money. If they have players who only play for a couple months, that player's happier because they'll be like, all right, I'm done with Madden for now. And then they'll just end their subscription.
Yeah. So here's how I see this kind of going one way or another. It's obvious that major publishers like EA have been pushing for the market as a whole to shift towards a games as a service, you know, segment. They want every game to basically be a service. They don't want it to be a one and done. They don't even want it to be a base game plus DLC. They want every game that they have out to be a continuous revenue stream. So my guess is that EA is going to attempt to have this service for streaming. It'll be tied in with Origin. I bet you it will be $15 a month. But I doubt that you're going to be able to play games for free. I bet you're still going to be paying for them, but not nearly as much. You're going to get a deep, deep fucking discount. But on top of that, because they're all discounted, I think EA's end game is to continue to try and push this free-to-play model, but package the games in such a way in a service like this streamable service that people feel like they're not getting ripped off because they don't feel the hurt of buying an outright $80 to $100 game. So the whole game is to reduce the perceivable expense on the user's end to maximize the incremental monetary gains that they get out of each individual user.
By 1,000 cuts instead
exactly,
of a big slash.
over a long period of time. And I think that's probably their end goal. We've seen EA's CEO or department heads come out constantly talking about the fact that EA has been in this to the point where they don't even have an identity anymore. Like EA used to have like an identity of like sports titles or whatever. Now they don't have an identity because they're buying up all these like these smaller houses. They're
not even
changing
smaller houses, dude. These are like huge studios. Criterion has a
huge
but Dice, all of these are big studios.
But they're diversifying the types of content that they have, because if they do come out with a service like this, they need diversified content for people to feel like it's a value for them to buy into, and they're not just getting, like you just said, like only sports
well, here's
titles.
The thing is, I think the vast majority of people are they like one specific type of game. So, you know, there are EA guys that'll buy a bunch of EA different titles, but I think the sports guys are sports guys, and the Mass Effect guys are Mass Effect guys. The Titanfall guys are Titanfall guys.
Which is why they need to diversify the stuff, right? To attract more people to the parent service or whatever.
They're trying to change it up, though, internally, too, because, I mean, they're breaking down the silos. Like, Respawn, part of the reason EA was forced to buy them, and they really couldn't even entertain the notion of Nexon taking them, was because Respawn not only is doing Titanfall work for Titanfall 3, they're doing work for Star Wars titles that EA is working on now. So they have like a whole pipeline because EA's got the exclusive thing for Star Wars games. EA literally has all of their studios, in addition to whatever project they're doing, they have some Star Wars projects they're working on. So they're like, we can't lose any of our studios in our portfolio because that'll delay all our Star Wars stuff.
Yeah. So it's been a crazy week for EA, to say the least. It doesn't look like we're going to hear the end of this for at least another couple of months into the new year anyway. We'll obviously keep tabs on. I'm interested to see what, when they bring back in Battlefront 2 the ability to buy stuff, what that actually looks like, what the progression ends up changing to, because this is kind of unprecedented in my memory. I don't think I've ever seen a company go, especially with a title with this high of a profile, to go so deep into it and be so close to launch and then completely dismantle something that's directly tied to monetization. That's pretty rare. So
that's Disney power right there.
Yeah, so I'm very interested in what is going to come out of their changes. What they do inevitably do, to say the least. Because and just to clarify, I haven't played the game, but what I've heard about the game, other than the fact that that the experience is pretty mediocre, the campaign is mediocre, whatever, a lot of the multiplayer gimmicky kind of broken stuff that was in the first game has been sorted for the second. So it's not necessarily that the game is dog shit, but the progression
actually a good game,
and the monetization is obviously not
fuck EA.
ideal.
I'm over it, man. Let's just move on. I'm just so tired of talking about EA now. They're
that was it. That was the wrap up.
All right.
Now we get to talk about your favorite thing, Jeff. Are you ready?
Oh God, what is it now?
Titty streamers.
Oh.
Do I have your attention now, Mr.
You have
Black?
my attention now. I could go for a little subscription, $14.99, and get as many titty streamers as I can.
What if it was all based on tokens?
Before we dive into this too much,
okay.
Adam and I talked about this earlier.
Okay.
Let's try to keep our comments and criticisms respectful because we don't want to get banned on Twitch.
I don't give a shit.
Yo,
I'm going
who
to
gives
speak
a
my
fuck?
mind.
Ain't nobody at
Walking on
Twitch.
eggshells.
Anil isn't gonna watch this. Hassan's not gonna watch this and go, oh, we need to get these guys out of here.
Yeah, let's be nice. They're humans. Too.
I didn't say be nice. I said be respectful.
No.
Respectful of what? Hanging out with your tits out of your shirt while just prancing around doing nothing in the IRL section.
So,
all right, I'll respect that.
Okay, so the I'm sure you've probably seen this video. If not, I've linked an article that's probably got the video linked to it one way or another. But this streamer's name's Trainwreck, which is one of the most ironic names for a situation ever. Posted a video or was live streaming when he went on this rant, and it was interesting to say the least. It was. When I watched it, I couldn't tell, honest to God, this is what scared me about it. I couldn't tell if he was being 100% serious or hamming it up a little bit, cuz if he was hamming it up a little bit, he did an awful good job of acting serious.
Was he salty? Was he just like yelling and shit?
No, oh, dude, you have to.
It got bad.
You have to.
Really bad.
No,
oh,
real.
I gotta watch.
You gotta watch that. Yeah, you gotta watch that. I
gotta watch this. Now.
It's bad. So he goes on this borderline incoherent rant that was disturbing on some levels. With that being said, some, not all, but some of the content behind, like the message, a part of it, there is truth.
Grains of truth.
And I mean grains of truth in it. He just went about it in the worst possible, like Tom Cruise having a meltdown type shit, like just crazy. Like he looked like he was, I don't know what, but anyway, he goes Jeff's watch. I'm watching Jeff's face for reactions to this video. So, 2 clips get posted of that, and then the internet, it sparks the internet again, talking about Twitch TV.
Oh my God, the guy sounds like he's spitting some fucking poetry.
It's like spoken word.
It's spoken word. It's like if Macklemore fucking got on his stream and started like spitting some shit.
Yeah.
And there's like some epic music. Sorry to cut you off. I just fucking watched that.
He
went ham. He went ham.
He went in.
He did say some pretty, ridiculous stuff. I mean, I get his message, but things about leaving pussy on the floor where it belongs, and like just some weird
crazy shit.
Yeah, that's a little out there.
He went far.
Yeah,
little crazy.
I've always been the type of guy that was like, I'll poke fun at them because I mean, why not? I mean, people poke fun at me all the time for dumb shit that I do, right? It is what it is. I poke fun at them because it's an easy target to poke fun at. But I always say, I respect their hustle. They're making money. I respect it. They're not like prostitutes. They're smart. Most of them are smart individuals. They know what they're doing.
Yes.
So, you know what? At the end of the day, hey.
They found a way to monetize real well.
It's free reign to poke fun at them. But, I mean, obviously, we're not going to say extremely hateful things or, like, try and diminish them as a person or some shit like that. I mean, do I agree with their behaviors? I mean, it's one of those things, right? But does it
matter? Okay,
it doesn't affect me. So I'm like, you know what? Have fun.
So what happens is this goes viral. Obviously, I mean, how could that not go viral? The guy literally just verbal diarrhea in the worst possible way, and everyone caught him for it. So this sparks again the discussions around the IRL section of Twitch. And female streamers in general, because there's a pretty wide gradient here of female streamer, and on one end you have the perfectly normal, sitting at the desk, chilling with a sweater, whatever the fuck they want to wear, nothing even crazy, they're just playing games.
Yeah.
And obviously they still get harassed because they're a bunch of, neckbeard, sexless fuckboys out there that need to stop watching so much hentai and to get off their friggin' their waifu pillows and out of their parents' basement. So that's gonna happen, right? But what happens is now, and some of their concerns are twofold. One, they're upset that they're getting harassed despite the fact that they're not doing anything remotely sexual. And
whoa.
No, not that. No.
No,
That's what I'm
he's
talking
about
on the
one end of the
stream.
spectrum.
I'm on this
okay.
end. I'm over here. Okay,
He's on this side.
We're not talking about Just Dance with a camel toe.
Yeah.
We're talking
We haven't
about.
gotten there yet.
We're talking about. I'm playing Hearthstone in a sweater, right?
Yeah,
like
okay.
we're
all right.
okay.
I was gonna say, whoa. Let's hold up the fun bus here.
So obviously that group of individuals is upset for twofold. One, the fact that they're getting harassed at all, and in the amount that they are is obviously frustrating. And then the secondary part of that is on that other end of the spectrum, the girls who know that they're abusing the system and you know they're getting their hustle on, they're doing the Just Dance camel toe extravaganza.
Yep.
You know, they are. They don't care if they get harassed. This is the problem. They don't give a shit.
Yeah,
They're making their money. They don't fucking care. Call me a slut. Come at me,
In
bro.
fact, they enjoy it. They enjoy
It's better than the other sites.
They enjoy having guys gawk at them and say shit like that.
So,
you know, because a lot of them are insecure and have self-esteem issues.
Sure.
And you know, it is what it is. But they just like being noticed.
So they don't care. The other girls do because they're not looking for it.
Yep.
And then, but on the side of the spectrum that doesn't give a shit, they're like the breeding grounds, and then the space AIDS leaks from the breeding grounds and worsens the situation that already existed. Like before IRL happened, and before Casey Tron, and before all this shit, and there were just some regular ass girls playing video games. It was still a problem, but now
it wasn't nearly as bad.
But
oh
now it's like
it's like a fucking gong show.
It's nasty.
It's an absolute gong show, and it's mainly just because you've got a lot of these cam whore like girls that obviously are not getting naked, but it is literally the formula of a token site.
Yes.
Without the act of actually doing sexual favors.
Instead of tokens,
for
it's
money.
just here's $5 straight.
It's bits. It's instead of tokens, it's bits, and it's bending over or bouncing up, playing Just Dance, or writing a name on a whiteboard, or whatever the case may be. That's what it is. It's not sexual. It's very sexual. It's sex driven. 100%.
Yeah.
When you're bending over slowly, you're wearing booty shorts. You're not wearing
playing to a demographic.
next to nothing. Oh, 100%. But you know what? Twitch is allowing them to play at that demographic as well.
That's the problem.
So the thing is while it's still happening, but you know, at the end of the day, you can't really blame Twitch either, because what can you say? Do you say, hey, ladies, can you please wear something that covers up your body? Or or we're going to give you a strike. You can't do that, because then you're going to have girls that are going, well, it's not my fault that I'm big-chested, or it's not my fault that I dress this way. Now you're discriminating on who I am as a person and all this other stuff, which I totally get. But what they can do is they can strike down on girls that are literally licking popsicles and blowing on microphones and doing all these weird sexual things, and which are 150%. Dude, I had somebody report my channel one time because I did a teabag, and Twitch actually messaged me and asked me not to do that because it had sexual innuendo. And I didn't rebuttal, because I felt like saying, well, what the fuck do you mean when I'm putting a name on a piece of paper and teabagging a name, but yet you have girl streamers on here that are bouncing up and down, are wearing booty shorts, their webcam is staring at their ass, they have thousands of viewers, and nothing is being said. Nothing.
They haven't played games for hours.
So yet I am the one that I've been doing this for years, and it's my shtick. And yes, guys, this is the reason why I haven't teabagged anybody in the last 9 months. It's because I was asked to stop doing it. So the reality of it is it's not treated fairly. And I understand where Twitch is coming from, because it's a fine line to walk. Because if you do,
I don't actually think it's that fine of a line at all. No. I think the line is actually pretty thick.
Well, I mean, when you're asking girls to dress a certain way, then it is a problem. Although at the same time, you asked guys to not wear a shirt.
Okay,
so you have to wear a shirt.
There's ways to address that without necessarily doing a dress code. they can do content guidelines and restrictions to say, hey, if you're going to be in IRL, we're still a game streaming site, so actually game. But if you're gaming, you need to have the game actually be some respectable percentage of your screen.
No, this is overly complicated.
That's too convoluted.
We're overly
it's
complicated. In the Twitch TOS, it says specifically overtly sexual content. There is a difference between wearing a tank top and you happen to be heavy fucking chested.
Yeah, of course.
And doing a Just Dance IRL stream and is the tightest possible, small form fitting, literally camel toe. And you know you have a no woman is walking around with a camel toe going, shit, I didn't feel this.
I can see how big her lips are. I can literally see how big her lips are. I can see
her labia just.
I can see the color of her butthole. I can see how pink it is, and that's pretty much the show.
Fucked up.
Like I'm not joking. I'm literally
There's a difference
not
between
joking.
that. There's a difference between there's a girl who actually outright said, so her stream was her doing like making some cosplay. All right, you got one camera on her face, one at her crotch, one that was literally a third of the screen in a vertical orientation, a camera that was just her ass, waist down, and that was the whole fucking show. And she's got her tits fucking out and everything. And she says to somebody who's like, I'm going to report this channel to this, she said, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Twitch doesn't care because I had a Twitch employee tell me that they just don't fuck, they brush this shit out. They're not gonna bother. So you go right the fuck ahead. And she probably shouldn't say that, but she's right because the double standards are fucking absolutely insane. You overtly sexual. If what she is doing is not overtly sexual, what the fuck is overtly sexual? Somebody literally
Jeff teabagging someone is.
Yeah, like come on now, really? Yeah. Like seriously, there was some chick that got like a 1-day ban for getting donations or something, and then pretending to masturbate for like 15 seconds and like noises and the whole 9 yards. And then you've got like dudes get angry at a game or some shit, and all of a sudden they're banned for like 5 days. Like it's fucking nuts. They don't. The ultimate problem here.
It's a weird spot, Adam. The thing is unless they come out and they say this is what is not allowed and what is allowed, people are going to continue to do it. And the reality of it is, and it's always been like this way with Twitch, and I haven't complained. Like I didn't come out and complain about what they asked me to not do anymore. I respect Twitch. I enjoy the platform. It's not going to like, ruin my fucking day or whatever. But at the end of the day, and I'm not about to play the card where it's like, well, it's not fair that this person can do this and this person can't do that. The reality of it is, as a streamer, as a content provider, I don't give a fuck what other people do. I'm focused on me. I'm focused on my audience, and that's it. The real problem strikes at how the viewer is treating other girl streamers that are legitimate. That I mean, they're all legitimate, even the cam ones. But I mean, as in the girl streamers that are not looking for the harassment, the ones that are just in it to play a game, build a great community, have fun, do their job, live their dream, regular streamer, and then that's the show. And then you've got the spillover from the cucks that are coming in that think it's okay, and a lot of the time is they think it's funny. They're not doing it to be hateful. They're not doing it to be like, oh, you're a fucking slut. Yeah, look at you. You're a dumb. Get in the kitchen. They're not. I truly believe that a lot of them don't actually feel that way, and that's just the way it is. They do it because they think it's funny. They do it because there's a reaction of the chat, there's a reaction of the streamer, and they want to get a reaction from them, whether it's good or bad. It doesn't really matter. But the thing is, it doesn't make it okay. Am I going to go around and cry for every single person that comes in, calls me a nigger on stream, or drops in a tryhard in my chat? I'm not going to bother. Listen, there's discrimination everywhere. There's discrimination on female gamers. There's discrimination on Asian gamers. There's a discrimination on black gamers. There is just a discrimination, period. And the reality of it is it's not going to stop. It just will not stop. But if Twitch wants to get a handle on how far it gets pushed, they will need to eventually make some kind of guideline on what is acceptable for a streamer and how they present themselves. Because the reality of it is, a streamer, a viewer is a reflection of the streamer. If the streamer is a guy like Adam that is chill, laid back, and isn't a spectacle, he's going to get those type of viewers, the ones that enjoy to sit back and relax and chill. If I'm the type of guy that's crazy and puts on chainmails and sings and teabags people, I'm going to have a trolley-like stream. Now, there will be some relaxed people that just kind of sit in the sidelines and have a lull for the entertainment. Great. But if you have a cam whore type streamer that sits there and shows her tits out all day and bounces around and does nothing but collect donations and talk to people that give her money, that's the type of cancer in the community in terms of like the viewers that is then going to spread to other channels, because that's what you think it's okay. I don't want to name drop anybody, but there are some other bigger streamers, one that actually got banned from Twitch, a guy who is crazy, and so you look at his chat and it's nothing but spam. I mean, we're talking memes, spam, racist slurs, homophobic slurs, nonstop all the time, and that's it. And then whenever he's done streaming, the spillover comes on to other streamers that are in the same category, and then the fucking floodgates open. They're not going to go from spamming to just say, hey guys, how's it going? How's the game going today? They're going to go right from spamming to spamming, and then they'll hop to another streamer that advocates the same type of behavior because it brings in views, and you're not alienating out those type of people. You come to my channel, ban, get the fuck out. And then they never come back because they know it's not going to work. And they're only there to troll. That's it. They don't even fucking watch the stream. They just want to spam. Try hard this, try hard that, try hard this, try hard that. And that's it. That's all they want to do. So unless Twitch comes up with a guideline on how a streamer presents themselves and the type of the ethical behavior or just common sense, and also they're partnering whoever now. It's whomever wants to get partnered. And so it gives an incentive for anybody to just, it holds Twitch at a responsible to an extent, because a streamer is a reflective of the company. And so if they're just going to allow anybody to be officially partnered, now it's one thing to be a regular streamer and just using a platform and then fucking up, and then Twitch can go, well, you know, they're not a partner. We're not actually paying these people. They're just, you know, part of the platform. We'll deal with it. But when you become part of the system and you're attaching your brand onto their brand, that is when at some point they're going to have to go, okay, there needs to be some kind of guideline, because when the streamer starts to smarten their act up, that's when their audience will smarten their act up. And until that happens, you can't expect the streamers to stop doing what they're doing, because they're getting paid. They're getting paid, man. Well, that's like someone come to my stream and saying, Jeff, stop singing in auto-tune. I'm going to say, fuck you. It makes me money. It makes people excited to be here. Fuck that shit, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
And that's so you know, my stance on this, and it's kind of what you've said to a degree there, but I think I'm a little stronger in this direction, is that at the end of the day, in my opinion, this is 150,000% on Twitch. Because for as long as Twitch allows this stuff to happen at a streamer level, I'm not going to ask Twitch to try and actively police the viewership on the website. That's
no.
You can't do that. That's up to the streamer. That's at the streamer level to decide what goes on in their own chat, okay? What they can control is who is streaming on the website. And so if Twitch allows this stuff to happen and they're loosey-goosey with the application of their current guidelines, which honestly I think are more than detailed enough. I don't think it needs to get more detailed than it already is. I think that the ultimate fault here is Twitch's application of their own guidelines and the failure to do so in a reasonable manner. What makes it worse is that Twitch is hard-nosed about never discussing the reasoning behind bans or not banning. It never happens. It's a curtain. Like in the you can't tell what the fuck it's like. Well, the Wizard of Oz.
That's because it changes from streamer to streamer, and it shouldn't be like that. But that's the reality of the business.
They're not going to ban a cash cow. They might give him a slap on the wrist.
Exactly. Like if Dr. Disrespect comes out and says something disrespectful, I mean, like, you know, he could say fuck Twitch. I'm bigger than Twitch. I run this shit. Like fuck, fuck bitches. Put them on the floor and pound pussy or whatever the hell that fucking weirdo said in his thing. Would he get the same type of treatment? I don't know. You know, I just don't know, and I'm sure that this guy will be back. I mean, you know, I'm sure it's just a temporary. Yeah,
it's a
temporary
temporary ban. I'm not saying
He'll
it's permanently.
back,
It's not saying
you
it's
know,
permanently banned. No.
Yeah, you know, it is what it is. But the thing is it changes from a stream to stream basis, and it usually goes by reports. If a streamer is not getting reported, even though they may do and say bad things, obviously Twitch just will never hear about it because, I mean, there's so many streamers and whatever.
Dude, I think that's no. Because on the IRL side, IRL is blowing up like it's fucking it's 1999. The people that are getting made on IRL are happening at a rate that is faster than on the gaming side, and they're not small streams. And I think it would be naive to say that the Twitch the Twitch staff do not have a thumb on the pulse of the IRL side to be able to see, with or without reports, that some of these streamers, most of them girls, as the topic of this conversation is revolved around, they're pulling in 1, 2, 3, 5,000 viewers. Those streams don't just go flying under the fucking radar and nobody noticing that this kind of stuff is happening, and I would refuse to have that as an excuse that, oh, there's just so many streams on the website and we just never ever. This is going to sound harsh. I bet you there are a bunch of male Twitch staffers that follow a lot of these IRL chicks. It wouldn't fucking blow my mind in the slightest if we found out that a lot of them watch actively some of these girls. And look, guys, we live on the planet Earth. The planet Earth is full of people, and people are fickle fucking animals. All right, and guys really like women a lot. Not all of them, but you know what I mean. Without changing the topic of discussion, you know what I'm fucking getting at here. All right, when that happens, I mean, look at where we are right now in Hollywood. Look at what's happening right now in fucking Hollywood. Men are getting brought to the fucking noose every 3.5 seconds that everyone thought were clean, just pristine human beings, has never done anything, and all of a sudden, oh shit, that dude was fucking 16-year-olds and forcing them to not say anything under, you know, under the consequences of a ruined career. If you think that this shit doesn't also happen in the sphere of Twitch, and I'm not saying at Twitch's, you know, employee level, but even among streamers, you'd be just as fucking naive. This is just the way of life. But what Twitch has to...
sex sells. I mean, you know, it is what it is. And there's nothing wrong with selling sex.
No. But Twitch has to decide if they're going to sell sex, which they are right now. Twitch is selling sex. Full stop, period. Twitch is selling it in IRL because they're doing it by not enforcing their own fucking rules in a uniform basis at all. I'm not even talking about guys versus girls. I'm just talking about not enforcing it, period, in many circumstances. They're selling sex, which I don't have a problem with. I really don't care.
No,
I'm not a guy. I'm not a guy that's like...
I think, hey, I have no problem with a woman looking sexy on stream. You're
not taking viewers from me. I don't have tits. I don't have an ass. I'm literally flat as a board.
My viewers are a different demographic.
I don't give a shit. You're not stealing my viewers, but Twitch has to decide. If they are, they have to come out and say, you know what, guys, this is okay. Then it just silences everything.
Well, they did say that, but they did say that because they're not doing anything, so it is okay, right?
But yet they're still banning people in weird and wonderful ways. So it doesn't. So they're flip flopping.
Well, I mean, the guy got banned.
Politicians.
The guy got banned for saying some really.
I'm not talking about the guy. You know? I'm talking about girls. Various girls, various sizes, small time girls doing some like casual shit, sitting there just in a regular ass tank top or something, and then all of a sudden they're gone for a day to 3 days, and then you've got other people going 50,000 times beyond that for days on end where there's no consequences. The same girl I just referenced before, hundreds or thousands of people watching her, and she's literally talking about Twitch staff telling her, it's cool, have 3 different webcams, one at your fucking crotch, one at your ass, that's just a third of your screen, and then casually attempt to do cosplay. Fuck off.
Here it is, you know what, I just don't. You know what, girls, go and make your money. Like, you know, it's...
I'm not
Go
mad
make
at
your
girls.
money, I guess, you know. Hey,
I just
do
want
your-
Twitch
do
to
your thing.
choose a fucking side and stop pussyfooting around the whole thing. That's what I
Make a
want to see.
decision.
Because
Yeah,
I
but
want
it's
this
a tough
discussion
decision to make. It's a tough line to cross, because no matter how you put it, it's going to backfire. It doesn't matter if you say this is how you need to act, because then it's almost like you're losing the creative ability to be who you want. And although we can argue what's creative about standing there in tights,
But dude, this
and
is
doing
Twitch
nothing,
TV. There are so
it's
many
not.
websites that allow them if they
I
want to do that
understand,
to do that.
but they did come out and they made the IRL section. I think the biggest thing that they could ever do right now is close down IRL and say, listen, we want to get back to the integrity of on where it all started, and that is of gaming. And
back to the
although the
roots.
IRL was an experiment, and we enjoyed what people have done and some of the content they provided, we just feel like we want to stick to what started it all, and that was gaming. Because before, when it was all about gaming, if you were not gaming, you were getting banned, or somebody
You're
would
getting
come in
warned.
and say,
You're getting
yeah,
warned.
somebody would come in and say, you need to start playing games. Like you cannot take more than like a 20-minute break of doing nothing, and then your stream will be shut down, which I thought was great. You know, because that eliminated a lot of people that were doing IRL streams without it being IRL, in terms of sitting there. Some of them had stream houses with webcams just playing, staring at a pool for 8 hours while they sleep, and, you know, all this other shit. And so it just progressively turned into more of a creative thing. You know, as technology starts getting better and people are able to stream wherever and whenever, you know, there's that, and people are driving vehicles streaming on Twitch, literally driving down the road and streaming. They're going to airports and streaming in airports. They're doing whatever they want, and there's no guideline, there's no boundary.
I feel like they had the right idea with creative and music and talk shows, those categories, because
Absolutely.
it's content. It's like defined content that you can do. And I'm totally like, that's the type of IRL content I want. I don't necessarily, again, there's probably, there's a huge demographic of people who do want that, you know, content of someone just sitting in a room and talking on a webcam or whatever. But I feel like that's not Twitch. Like, that's not what Twitch was designed for. You know, it was meant for gaming, but it's moved away from that, which is the disappointing part. Because it's brought a lot of undesirable elements.
If they kind of branded it differently, where there was a Twitch, there was an IRL section, like an IRL, like right off the page, like right off the browser, and it was like just a company that was kind of corresponded with Twitch. So that
Justin.tv.
Justin.tv, exactly. You know, I tried
the
to
resurrection.
say that without saying it. But you know what? That's just not. I just don't think that's going to happen. And at the end of the day, I don't have a problem with the girl streamers that sit around and show their bodies off and stuff. I personally don't. Like, I'm going to continue to poke fun at them because it's easy.
Yeah, of course.
And I do occasionally tune in and just have a laugh, right? And just have a laugh. I'm not a hater, man. Listen, when a chick is making more money than me, all the power to her. Like, I mean, all the power to her. Equal rights. Go and make your money. Do your thing. You know, it doesn't affect me. It does affect other girl streamers negatively. It really does, and that's not fair. But life isn't fair, and you know, I'm discriminated on a daily basis. That's not stopping me. If you're a streamer, you got to have thick skin. You got to understand the game. And if you're a female streamer and you can't handle a dude coming in and calling you a bad name, then maybe streaming isn't for you. And you can go and say that, well, she shouldn't be put in that situation to begin with. Well, guess what? It's the internet, sweetheart. And at the end of the day, you got to learn how to have thick skin or get out of this industry. And it doesn't. We can't necessarily hold. We can hold Twitch accountable to an extent, but at the end of the day, when somebody comes in and says something hateful, then that's a problem. And I do like the fact that when a streamer says something very hateful, Twitch did come in and lay down a little bit of a law and say, listen, we understand you're passionate about it. We understand you don't agree with it, but there's a way to communicate. And there's a line, because what that guy did is he said it in such a hateful way that really hit on females and basically said that they're less than something, that they're a sex object, even though some of them are presenting themselves that way. You don't feed into that, because now of the viewers that you have, They're now going to go to those streamers that are trying to make some money, that are entertaining in their own way, and they're going to go in and repeat those hateful things or tell them to go watch that video, and then they're doing the exact thing that those people are now complaining about doing to somebody else. It's a big fucking circle. So
again,
you know, it just is what it is.
Community, societal issues, not on Twitch to fucking change the fact that society has a bunch of mouth-breathing idiots. That's cool.
Sucks that
that's
it is
whatever.
That way,
it sucks that it's that way.
It's a reality that's going to take time to change.
And it's not on Twitch.
Which is not the Crusader.
It's not on Twitch to change that. Nor is it on Twitch to tell the girls that they can't do that in their own lives if they wanted to go and do that. That's not on Twitch. But what Twitch has to decide is what is Twitch with or without IRL, and fucking stick to whatever that is. That's the crux of the problem, because if Twitch sticks to that, then at the very least, it doesn't fix the community, it doesn't fix the fuckboys, it doesn't fix all that shit, but what it does is that it allows the people that do stream on the site, and I'm speaking more specifically about the girls that are catching flack because of this other stuff happening, to decide, do I stay here and support that, or do I want to go somewhere else? Whether or not that's a good decision to go somewhere else, that's totally fucking extraneous. It's just that at the very least, then it tells them, this is what the site is going to become. This is the direction Twitch is going in. It's likely only going to get worse. So do I want to stay here, or do I want to try and do something somewhere else? That's the problem. It's Twitch not sticking to their guns. I'm with Jeff. Go girls, go.
Make your money.
You do.
Yeah, make your money.
You do you. If you have as much shame as LAGTV, and that's about zero.
Push the envelope. You know, see how far you can take it. I mean, you know,
go get her.
It is what it is. I'm not gonna hate on the hustle, and I think that Twitch, in a way, has said what it is that they don't like. Obviously, playing Just Dance in booty shorts is totally fine, and wearing a sports bra is totally fine. Or some girls I've even seen just wearing panties, like legitimately just wearing underwear. And apparently that's fine. And that's okay. I mean, I'm okay with that. I really am okay with that. And they haven't banned anybody for doing that. What they have done to some female streamers is when they're being overly sexual, is when they are moaning and licking things in a sexual manner and doing, I guess, kind of like what I did when I teabagged the paper, although I've been doing that for, 6 years and have, had people from Twitch like laugh and have it on Reddit and, but all of a sudden, since all the emotions are so heightened about all of this controversy on what is allowed and what isn't, and what is sexual and what is not, we're starting, there's these gray areas. And I think right now Twitch is just picking and choosing what is bad and what isn't, when it is all kind of a gray area. And I guess if you're a girl, as long as you're not like, trying to blow a microphone, you're fine. And if that's the case, then,
my favorite part about all this is that all the stuff that we just talked about, and the crazy cases that exist currently, and what goes on in IRL, and then Twitch banning male nipples. It was like
that's not it anymore. Now you can stream shirtless.
Oh, we've brought that back.
I'm almost certain that you can.
Have we doubled back on that?
I've seen so many streamers shirtless. There's a bunch of workout streams, like dudes got their shirts off.
Maybe that was the catalyst. Was, all right, we have IRL workout streams. We have to allow men to walk around shirtless now. Yeah.
I'm like 99% sure that either that or they're just not enforcing it, because I see dudes with their shirts off all the time.
It wouldn't be shocking. That wouldn't be shocking either way. Moving on to the next segment. We're into the other pop culture-y stuff. Movies, TV, everything in between. Not a huge list here, because basically the only thing anyone's talking about in the movie industry right now is who touched who touched who, when, how old were they, and how many times did they touch them. That's pretty much the only thing that's going on. Kevin Spacey got fucked. Literally and figuratively.
They found more stuff for him. Dating over yeah, dude. He was like director in residence or whatever for a studio or for like a theater in London. and they like looked at stuff from like 2006 to 2015, and they found like 20 to 30 more complaints.
Oh no.
And they're like, well, we can't act on any of these, but we found them. So
Kevin needed to be given some more spacey, if you know what I'm fucking talking about. You're getting a little too close with the folks. And then just today, somebody decided that they were going to call out Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, Stallone got called out.
I didn't see that.
I didn't
see that.
Al Franken got called out too.
Yeah, for a case back in 80s, like this is like from the 80s, like 80s when he was 40 years old, and it was on the set of some movie they were doing, and the girl said that Stallone and a bodyguard forced her to blow them, and then said, if you tell anyone, we're gonna, basically we're just gonna kill you. To which Stallone and his publicist came out immediately and said, yeah, that never actually happened. And I guess this is the problem here is that with all of this going on, and with all of it being so high profile, and all of this being people who have a lot of money, is how many fake cases are going to be filed, and will they get away with it? Because really, most of these cases are just he said, she said, and in this case, he said, she, and she said. So it's girls that are getting together that are saying, yeah, I did, and I did, and I did, and I did. And I'm not saying that any, all, or some of these cases aren't entirely true, but I have to imagine people are going to try and capitalize on it.
I feel like that's going to happen eventually, but so far, from what I've seen, all the allegations that have at least made it into the news have had multiple accusers who have no relation to each other, and they've been verified or vetted in some way, shape, or form, which, at least from a journalistic standpoint, can hold up to scrutiny for why they published it. I haven't seen one yet in the recent amounts that have come out where it's been like they've had to either give a retraction or it was like a false accusation. That hasn't happened yet. But I feel like they've been much more diligent, because part of it, and again, the part of this whole dynamic has been, and the reason why you're getting things from like 30, 40, 50 years ago, is all goes back to the Weinstein scumbag stuff that he did, right? He is one of the most powerful people in Hollywood at the time. So him getting taken down empowered a lot of people to come forward and say, this is what happened to me, but I was too scared to actually say something, right? And now it's actually coming out that, yeah, a lot of these accusations are true. So I'm really happy that that's at least happening, and that there's, even if it's not necessarily justice, they're at least getting heard now. But I am 100% agreeing with you, Adam, that at some point, someone's going to do something scummy and try to take someone else down just for their own personal gain with false accusations. I'm hoping when that does happen, that the hammer drops to kind of discourage that behavior while still allowing people to say, yeah, this person did something wrong, and yeah, it might have been a while ago, but maybe we can do something to hold them accountable. The one thing I don't necessarily like is that the accusations are totally tanking careers. And totally causing problems. I still do believe that people should be given benefit of the doubt. But then when you have like 30 people accusing you and it's kind of edited out, that's a different story.
It's a difficult situation because you're talking about celebrities, and you're talking about people that have icon status. So they're given a much higher degree of credibility than your average citizen. So or even to a degree a lesser known member of the acting community. So you've got the challenge of these people experiencing these things at the time, and if they 30 years ago tried to lay these accusations out, what are the odds that anyone's going to listen to them without subsequently destroying their own reputation for doing so? And then on top of that, I guess that's really just it. Is what are the odds that goes over well for them? I don't think it does. And now that it's happening at a higher level, and more people are coming out. So there's a double-edged sword. It's good that it started because it's allowed more people to come out and discuss it. But at the same time, when it happens at this volume, it allows people to sneak in and even get together with other people. There could be there could be 5-6 women that just get together and say, "All right, girls, we're taking down this guy over here. He looks Steve Buscemi looks like he might have touched a couple of people in his life. Probably not. He's probably one of the nicest people in Hollywood. But you know what I mean. You know what I mean? Like, let's just choose a dude that looks like he fits the profile and go for it, despite the fact nothing's happened."
I mean, yeah, I mean, it can happen. I mean, you can do that really. You can blackmail or you know, try and frame anybody, I guess, in anything. But the thing is in Hollywood, when people speak up, it's typically the truth, mainly because everything is on the line. Like, if you're an actress in Hollywood and you come out and you're outing somebody like a Weinstein or a Stallone or a whoever, you better be damn sure you've got some proof. You better be damn sure that a lot of other people know, because they will blacklist you like the plague and you will be forever forgotten. So typically when these things do happen, I'm not saying it all the time, but as of right now, I mean, it's pretty evident that Weinstein was a fucking dirtbag. From many sources. I mean, everybody in Hollywood.
Literally everyone in the industry that's over the age of 20.
And I mean, we saw what happened with Louis C.K. Louis C.K. just came out and flat out said it's true. And then with Kevin Spacey, everybody is saying that it's true. His brother even came out and said that his father's like a Nazi, you know, diddler, essentially. So, you know, when they come out and they say these things, I don't think you have to worry too much about framing people.
Because they're vetting it out.
Yeah, the reason why there's so many people that come out is because when one person comes out, then it's easier for everyone else to say, yeah, he did this to me too, and I've been fighting this my whole life, and you know, now we're suing.
It's that inertia. Now we want his money. Like, they got over the speed bump. Like, it's just like once it starts rolling downhill, then it's like, okay, now we're comfortable.
But yeah, so all of that's happening. Stallone got outed when you were gone, Jeff. I just mentioned that, obviously, well, not obviously, but Stallone's outright saying this literally never happened. You can talk to the head of whatever police department that was there at the time and see if anything was ever filed or anything was ever mentioned ever about me, whatever. They came out and said, no, it's clean, it's whatever. Honestly, Stallone does not necessarily strike me as the type of dude that would do that. And if it was one case, and it was how it was framed too. Like, I could see, like, it's one thing to say that somebody sexually harassed somebody else, but it's another thing to say that 40-year-old Sylvester Stallone, already deep into his career for success in the 80s, forcibly had you blow him and his bodyguard under the threat of, like, death. Like, really? Does that really sound like, I get that people can do some crazy shit, but I mean, that's a very heavy thing to put on somebody.
Heavy accusations.
That's
and
heavy.
Very descriptive accusations. So,
I feel yeah. So anyway, and that's why I mentioned. That's why I mentioned, maybe there are going to be some cases of people trying to get away with some of this amidst the reign of totally truthful. It happened. Everyone knows Hollywood's been about this game for a very long time. It was just a matter of time. But now that it's happening, I mean, we live in the world of litigation in the States. Somebody going to try and sneak in. And I just thought about that today when I saw the Stallone thing, because I was thinking that is a heavy accusation. Not only having you do that to him, but fucking forcibly blow his bodyguard and say that they're going to take your ass out if you freaking talk about it. I mean, that's...
Swallow or die.
Yeah, like, that's crazy. So, other than that, small little tidbits of things happened this week in the world of movies, I guess. One of which that caught my eye was that apparently they're going to try and do an Are You Afraid of the Dark movie. I don't know who remembers that TV show from back in the day.
Of course I remember, yeah.
The writer or writers from It and Annabelle are apparently the ones doing it. So maybe it turns out to not be complete trash.
That'll be interesting.
So that caught my eye. But how do you guys think they're going to turn the formula? Because that TV was a pretty specific formula, right? And it wasn't all interconnected. There were individual stories. So how do you think they're going to do that?
I mean, that's the beauty of Are You Afraid of the Dark? It was a couple of kids come around the campfire in the intro. They start telling a story, and then it just does whatever story it is for that week.
Yeah, I think it'll probably be sort of the same thing where they tell a story, or they are part of the story, or like you know they go to the campfire and they're telling the stories, but then something is coming to life or something happens or whatever the case may be. I think it could be cool. The only thing that is kind of shitty about it is I'm sure it's still gonna have that kid feel to it. You know, it's kind of like when Goosebumps came out with fucking Jack Black. And it was it was almost like Jumanji. It was still
except
very
that was really bad.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like, it would have been really cool is if they came out with a more of an adult version of Are You Afraid of the Dark?
For the people that grew up with it.
Exactly. I'm not saying it needs to be rated R by any means, but it would be really cool if they understand that the people that watch the show are now in their late 20s, early 30s. And we've grown up, and although we'll probably still go and watch it for the lulz or take our young kids or whatever, I think it would be really cool if they turn it into like a serious, like, Are You Afraid of the Dark? Like, you know, because there's something to be afraid of, and actually make it scary. And there's so much that you could do with it too, because if they do go down the story route, they could make a movie every Halloween, and it could be a new story, right? It could be around the campfire, and there's so many different things that you could do that you're not stuck to, like, one
just take
formula.
an episode and stretch it into an hour and a half, hour 45-minute movie, and
exactly, and it would be easy to film. It'd be cheap to film.
You don't need the same actors every time.
You don't need the same actors every time. You could just get new actors that'll cost you a box of cornflakes or a box of Vector cereal from Costco.
We'll put a roof over your head for the next 9 months.
And that's it. And it would be a success at the box office because it's a horror movie. It's backed by a big name. As long as the first one was reasonably well done, they could just come up with anything. I mean, the crazy stories you could just come up with. They don't need to follow a formula every single time.
It's a way to franchise independent stories.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
yeah. So I mean, you know, we could cross our fingers.
Yeah,
it could turn out to be really good. So you never know. And then the second thing I wanted to talk about, and then we'll see if anything else on your guys' plates for this. But I don't know who saw it. I'm sure everyone has seen it. Hard not to. Deadpool 2 released a teaser, trailer, skit thing that was one of the most well-targeted for the demographic, well done, true to the source material, but still twisted ad in Deadpool 2's Bob Ross skit. Did you see this, Jeff?
I saw that, yeah.
Magic.
It's funny. Yeah,
fucking magic. Even in the credits. Even if the credits were perfect. If you look at the credits, it said lighting done by Tom Edison. Like, it was like giving credits to fucking Thomas Edison for creating the light bulb. Like,
Jeff's
it was
all
just
about
perfect.
that Yellow Snow, Betty White.
Yeah, Yellow Snow, Betty White.
The paint colors were amazing. Clockwork orange.
But he should have said Betty White. He should have.
White.
Yes.
Yeah, White.
What did he say when he was
beating like, the devil out of it? It was basically a jerking off joke.
Whacking off.
Just whack it off. Yeah, just whack it off again real quick.
Yeah, it's Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool. I mean, it's he just embodies it, and it's almost like Ryan Reynolds was always Deadpool, and everything that he's done over his whole career, he always acted like that character. It was almost as if, you know, I don't know. It's like divine intervention happened, and Ryan Reynolds' career has been up and then fucking tanked, and then it was up a little bit and then stagnated, and then once he signed on to Deadpool and he fought forever. He fought, and then they were gonna do it, and then it got canceled, and then they said, "All right, fuck it, we'll do it rated R, we'll do it the right way," and boom, now it's just massive. I mean, he is crushing it. All the advertisements are perfect. His delivery and his lines are perfect. The character's awesome. It's brutal. They poke fun at pop culture. They poke fun at other superheroes. I mean, it's so much fun. It's just fun. That's what it's all about. It's just fun.
Like somebody in the marketing department was like, "Hey, Twitch TV did a Bob Ross revival, and now a bunch of kids actually know who the shit Bob Ross is. Let's do a Bob Ross riff."
100%.
And it's just perfect.
100%.
Perfect.
100%.
Absolutely freaking perfect. So those were the two things that stood out for me this week. You guys have anything movie, TV, whatever related?
I'm assuming
not really.
you're doing Justice League, Jeff.
Yeah, Kayla, she was like, I want to go out and hang out with some friends. So now we're going out tomorrow night to go bowling. Fortunately, we're going with a couple of friends, so it is nice to hang out with friends. But I wanted to go see Justice League tomorrow. Unfortunately, we're going to do the bowling, and so I'll go on Saturday. So I'll go see Justice League with her in IMAX on Saturday. But I'm looking forward to it.
Watch it before the podcast next week.
Oh, for sure. The reviews are kind of meh. Yeah, they're yeah. I mean, it's DC, right? So it is what it is. We'll see what happens. I'm excited for it though. I really love Ben Affleck as Batman. I love Wonder Woman. I actually like Wonder Woman more than all of them. So
no, she's the best character in the universe.
Wasn't that part of the controversy around this movie? I loosely use the word controversy in that how they handed the what are they called, the Amazonian women, basically the Wonder Woman side, the girls who aren't Wonder Woman but are technically still
Badass
of Wonder
Amazon.
Woman stock. Yeah, like they dramatically changed their costumes from the Wonder Woman movie, which were done really, really well, into here's some sex sells shit, like in a way that's just like, how do you go from
hey,
nailing it over here?
The seasons change out there, okay? Maybe it's summertime there.
It's a little hotter.
They need to skim down a little bit, taking care of their tan. They've been working out. They're looking good.
Hey man, look, the reviews for this movie have been double the previous DC movies other than Wonder Woman. So, I have high hopes, going from 20% to 40%.
Not bad.
That's a pretty good
almost
good
batting 500.
Almost.
Not quite, but we're almost batting 500.
I heard this movie's also like friggin' long as hell.
No, they shortened it down, so it's just under 2 hours.
Ooh, that's heavy cuts, because they were
110 minutes. And apparently you can notice it. It was a 2 hour and 45-minute movie.
Yeah,
and
ridiculously long.
What they're going to do is they're going to release the full version on Blu-ray, obviously, and people are already thinking that it's going to be an infinitely better movie when all the pieces show up, because apparently there's some scenes
like you can tell
where
stuff's missing.
They're in the middle of a scene and then it just kind of ends and you're like, why? What the fuck? Like, why did that even happen? What is happening with this? And it's just gone. So
that's disappointing.
Yeah.
I mean, that happens when you're rushing this stuff to catch up with Marvel. That's just kind of what's going to happen. You're going to run into these
but if
weird...
You have a 2 hour and 45-minute movie, why are you going to match Marvel cut 30, 40 minutes off of it?
The studio apparently made them cut it down to under 2 hours. They thought it was too long, that people weren't going to want to go to the theater and watch almost a 3 hour movie, which, I'm still going to go, but I will say a 3 hour movie or close to 3 hour movie in the theater is rough. Like, I'm a movie goer. Like, even watching something like Interstellar, and you can feel the length of the movie. Like, I go and watch like Wolf on Wall Street. If you're watching a Scorsese movie, you may as well take a snack and a pillow, because like you're in there for a while, and you can feel the length on most of those movies. Homo. So you can definitely feel the length of the film. So especially when you're taking a young one, there's a lot of young fans that want to go and watch Batman. That's a long time to sit in a movie for 2 hours 45 minutes, and it's a great selling point for the DVD Blu-ray that comes out, where you're saying, hey, we're gonna sell tickets anyway. Now you're gonna get the extended version for the low price of $40, and everyone's gonna run out and buy it and watch the actual movie. Movie. And of course, some really shitty things happened during the filming of the movie. Zack Snyder, I do believe it was his daughter, committed suicide.
Whedon took over.
Yeah, Whedon took over. So a lot of bad things happened. A big amount of reshoots. Superman had to come back, and he was filming another movie, and he had a big beard, mustache. So they had to digitally remove the mustache for the entire almost all of his scenes. So that was no, not at all. So there's a lot of fuckery that happened with that movie. So we'll see. I'll enjoy it.
Oh, did you finish Stranger Things yet?
No.
Oh, my son of a bitch!
Dude,
Speaking of that, Punisher comes out tomorrow.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm hearing good things. I've a couple of reviewers that I listened to. They had some issues with the first couple of episodes. But apparently it gets pretty good.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. So we're not gonna have like a that fist type thing or the Luke Cage type crap. It'll be better than the Iron Fist or whatever, the Maiden Fist, or I don't know what they call it.
Iron Fist doesn't
Iron
exist.
Fist.
You mean the immortal Iron Fist?
Immortal
Danny Rand?
That garbage.
How many times is he freaking have to say it in the series?
Yeah, that's pretty much it for movie related stuff. Nothing else that is worth talking about. Oh, I did go to the movies and see. I watched. Oh man, the one about the firefighters.
I know what you're talking about. I just can't think of the name of it, but
yeah, something Pride or something. Yeah, somebody will say it. But anyway, that was a really, really good movie. That had Miles Teller in it, and what's his face there, from Marvel, playing all the bad guys. The main guy, Thanos.
Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin, thank you. Man, and Josh Brolin was fucking big in this movie. You could tell he was.
He was getting ready.
He was either in between movies.
Yeah.
And it probably after he was done filming Avengers, and then before he's filming Deadpool. So he was like
all jacked up.
He was jacked. Like he wasn't ripped. You could tell he wasn't as shredded as he is for Deadpool, the pictures you see, but he's fucking yoked. I mean, like, and he's wearing heavy shirts. And then there's like some scenes where he has his shirt off, and you're like, God damn, Josh Brolin. It's like, how old are you? You got to be like 50-something years old, and you're looking like you're 40. The guy is yoked. But it was a great movie, a true story. It was a very sad. And I went there like we and the other week we talked about like just being in a bad headspace and like getting away. And I was kind of in a bad headspace, and I went to the movies, and I didn't indulge in all the junk food. I only had a small popcorn and a bottle of water, so I was proud of myself.
So you only spent $30?
So I actually spent $40.
That's so bad.
Oh, it's terrible, bro.
Oh,
so
God.
I went there, I watched it, went by myself, and the movie at the end of the movie, it almost made my feeling worse. I was like, man, this is not how I wanted my night to end. But then when I got back in the car and I was thinking about the movie, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the message.
You felt fulfilled by it.
It did. It felt. It was. They just did such good. They were just respected the source material and the people that were involved, and it was just a great film. So I would highly recommend not to run out in the theater. It's definitely not like a theater movie you need to see. There's no huge theatrical things. There's a couple of like big scenes, but beyond that, it's all character driven. It's a slow burn, pardon the pun, but it's really it's something special. It's good. It's a great Netflix movie. I think you guys will really like it.
Mr. MaximusBlack.
Yeah.
Hit me up with the sound of a quick sellout transition.
Go on over and head on over to our Patreon page. How much money do we have up in Patreon?
You're never going to be able to see because Patreon's down for maintenance.
Oh, okay. It's down for maintenance. So, if you're listening to this right now on the Twitch, don't bother heading over to Patreon right now. But if you're watching this on YouTube or iTunes, why don't you do us a favor and go ahead and rate us on iTunes. Give us that 5-star rating if you're enjoying it. Let us know how you feel about the 2-hour special cast now that we have, although we're already pushing 2 hours. We're doing well. We're doing well. We can end this at a reasonably good time. So shout outs to Adam for keeping the pace relatively good. Yeah, just go and throw money at there because we're going to go ahead and do some D&D when we hit 5,000 on our goal. If you guys are enjoying it and you can't afford to spend money, just rating it is always, it goes a long way. And even better, share it with a friend. You must know a buddy that likes video games. Go ahead and share it with a friend. Say, listen to this podcast. Or these guys are funny. Adam and Jeff argue a lot. It's fun to listen to.
What more could you ask for?
Wow.
Nothing.
Adam and Jeff argue a lot. I see how it is.
Well, we do. I mean, you get in there.
Yeah.
You get your hands dirty every now and then.
I get my fist up in there a little bit.
You get a
little bit of spinning action.
Get the shit in there kind of thing. So we're gonna move on to tech support. So we're shortening how many tech support things we do, not necessarily because we don't want to answer your questions, but because we actually made a bad life choice in that we were answering so many that we're coming full circle, and not enough time passes in between podcasts where video game or movie or life or anything questions can accrue and be new. So
we're going back to basics.
Answering a couple here.
Jeff, Adam, we're on an island. Who do you bring with you and why? That's
like
a fake question. That's a fake question.
Okay,
that's a fake question. Don't. As in that's been asked before.
Yeah,
I was
gonna say I feel like I've answered this 4 times.
I get you. Here's a quick one. Here's a quick one. Quackington asks, what is the best and worst gift you have ever given or received? So you can choose which one. Oh, you know which one. Jeff, don't tell the whole story.
I won't tell the whole story.
You can give the abridged version.
All right, the best gift I've ever given was for a Secret Santa gift, and I made a mold of my own penis in a mold your own dildo thing. I went down to the sex store and bought this kit, and gave myself an erection and put my penis in this gel-like shit. And it hardened around my penis, and I got to basically mold my penis, and I gave it to her as a Secret Santa gift, and it's a gift that just keeps on giving. And the worst gift I've ever given, probably the same thing.
What's the worst? What's the best or worst gift you've received though?
Oh, that I received? I thought the one that we.
Either or. But we can do either or. So what? Do you have one that's specific that sticks out in your mind? From one that you've.
The best gift that I ever received. I mean, I've had a lot of different memorable gifts. I really like the gift my wife got me last year. Was the Virtual Boy. Down there, and it's a special one because you don't need batteries for it. It's just modified a bit. That's cool. It's not the best gift, but I did want to give a little shout out. Probably the best gift I've ever received for Christmas ever in the history of ever was my Nintendo 64 when I was super young, and my parents played the prank on me, and it wasn't underneath the tree, and then they said your sister's got another gift on the deep freezer around the corner, and I was fucking salty, and I walked over there, and there it was, a Nintendo 64 with Mario 64 and Instinct or Killer Instinct, and it was such a memorable Christmas. Whenever I think of Christmas time, it always is either that or a different Christmas where I was with all my family and it was like a really awesome Christmas. Just the gathering part, like not even gifts. I don't even know what I got that year, but just like memory wise. But in terms of for the gift, the N64 was transcendent for me. It made me the gamer I am today. It was the first console, not the first console I ever got as a gift, but it was the first one that turned me into a hardcore gamer, where it meant the world to me to receive it. Before it was like, oh, I got a Nintendo, I got a Super Nintendo. That was the first console I got, and then I got a Sega Genesis. But the N64, that was the show, and that was the beginning of it all. Like getting Mario Kart and 007 and hanging out with my buddies, and it really just that was it. Best gift
snowballed.
Ever. Yep,
snowballed. So the best. I'm gonna say the best gift I've ever given was probably kind of recent, in that no, you know what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say this one instead. The best gift I ever gave was I gave my cousins and my aunt and uncle throw. For years, they actually just sold their house recently. But for many years, they threw big parties for all of Ben and Kayla's friends to show up, keggers, the whole 9 yards. Because John would get right into it. He'd have one of Ben's old hockey helmets on, just sauced up, playing with the kids and shit, playing beer pong and everything. And so they played a lot of beer pong, and John made a beer pong table that would like fold up and go away and everything. But then what was it? Ben was going away for school, and Kayla was as well, and so I bought them a like hardcore like fold up carry case beer pong table.
Nice.
That they could take with them, so because they were nearby each other, so they could whenever they were together, they could just unfold and have a party, and they'd have this, and it was a dope beer pong, Canadian made, of course, strong beer pong table. And then the secondary one I was about to mention was I bought my grandmother a Kindle, which 3 years ago, Mom was like, no, she'll never use it, and then I got one, and Mom was like, oh, that's kind of neat. I wonder if Nan would want one. And I looked at her like, are you serious, Ren? Are you serious right now?
I bought her one. What the fuck?
I was like, well, no. I mean, in terms of like, before she said, you know, she wouldn't use it, and now all of a sudden, you know, she could have had one for 3 friggin' years.
Okay.
And instead, no, because Nan can't do a lot. She's 95, whatever years old, heart failure. She wakes up, she reads, she watches some TV, she sleeps. It's her entire life is right there, and she reads a book in a day. Like, she just crushes it. So Mom was spending like $20 on a book. Now she's spending like $3. Nice. The greatest day, and then she can read it easier because the light doesn't affect
font bigger and stuff.
Yeah, the light doesn't affect the page, so it's not like a book page. So when you're 94 and your eyes aren't particularly fucking fantastic, night and day. Nan loves it. I was over there the other day, and she was like, "This is the greatest thing I've ever had in my life." She's like, "I'm crushing books left, right, and center, just piling through them." So that was probably the best one. There, that wasn't like a kooky gift.
So Nova Mom's not gonna have to come in and have the Vector cereal talk with Nan.
No, she don't know. Yeah, she does just be like, Nan, look, your put is like $700 a month in books. We need to slow that roll down. No, don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah,
so
and before you're still going.
I was just gonna say, for me, I would say best gift. No, I'm gonna go with worst. Because I did best for what I've given. I'll go with worst. Birthday, I think it was my 10th or 11th birthday, I think? And one of my aunts, not Ben and Kayla's mom, my other aunt, mom's sister, gave Kayla and I both the fucking Ricky Martin CD.
Oh.
And that was it.
He bangs!
That was the CD. It was that one. And so I was like, oh, thanks, I guess.
Thank you so much. I love it.
Yeah. This was like during the Backstreet Boys craze we all had, and then it was like, here's Ricky Martin.
Nah, fuck that. Fuck that shit.
So
that's terrible.
So that's that. Yeah. So there you go. There's mine.
I forgot to mention, definitely the best gift I've ever given. Okay, so maybe the dildo was like the worst gift I've ever given. But the best gift I've ever given was buying Kayla a car. That was I don't even know how I forgot about that.
That's true. That's a pretty solid gift.
The most expensive gift and the biggest gift I've ever given to anybody. I never thought in a million years I'd be buying somebody a car, even though it's my wife. But, you know, just the thought of it, like,
and the whole delivery was amazing.
Yeah, like 7 years ago, I never even thought I would have owned like my own car, right? I would say like 8 years ago now that I would even own a brand new car myself. But to go out and buy a car and surprise her and put it in a storage unit and drive her there and make up this elaborate story that we're going there to get my dad's gear, equipment, because somebody was stealing tools on the job site and Dad stored them all in the storage locker, and we had to go there to grab them for him. She literally had no fucking clue. And then when I opened it up and the car is there, I mean, that's what you live for.
It was like an episode of my 16th birthday on TLC.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's definitely the best, and it was the most fulfilling and rewarding feeling that I've ever gotten during Christmas too, because at that point I was more excited for her than what I was for Christmas. Like if you ever ask Kayla or anybody, I actually don't care about Christmas at all. I just want to be with family.
Yeah, exactly.
And relax and enjoy family time. That's everything to me. To sit down with my whole family and eat a good meal and just laugh and tell stories. That's it, you know, because at the end of the day, you only have one family and eventually they're going to be gone. And to share those memories is more than anything, is everything to me. So the gifting part, when Kayla's stressed out going, I don't know what to get you, I'm like, don't buy me anything. look what we have. We don't worry for anything. Whatever it is that you buy me is not going to change my outlook on anything. You know, I'm going to appreciate it. I'm going to be happy for a moment, but at the end of the day, it's just another materialistic thing. And so the car was like it just symbolized so much more than just something. It was a big deal for our family. So it was awesome. That was the best Christmas of my life for sure. And it had nothing to even really do with me. It was all about her. So that was fun.
I would say that's definitely a good choice. This is definitely a good choice. All right, Panic, what do you got?
I'll never do it again though.
No,
Yeah.
never, no.
Never again.
It's a one-off.
So I'll do a couple. So the best gift I've ever given, actually, Jeff, you're a recipient of it. Actually, one of them. I feel like I put a lot of effort into it. I actually worked with an artist, like down to like I commissioned an artist, not to just say here's money and make something. The artist and I physically like sat down and we went over how we were gonna put together this composition artwork. You know, from characters, posing, details, and while they were doing it, I was working with them to put together this piece. And they live streamed it. Literally, just me and him were working on it. Right.
That's cool. Yeah.
So, and then and again, this was just a digital art print of Kerrigan from like StarCraft and Brood War and all of that, and had it put together. And then I had it printed on like gallery stock.
Yeah, it's fresh.
I only printed 6 copies of it, and I have since destroyed the digital artwork. So the only ones that exist are those prints, and I gave them out to a couple of really close friends of mine and people I've worked with on the streaming side. Jeff got one of them.
I have one. I have mine still.
Yeah, I got mine framed up on. The wall. I'll pull it off in a second. The best gift I've gotten, again in the art theme, a friend of mine, with no real prompting or anything, painted like a small painting, but completely by hand, like of all of our inside jokes together. And I completely was not expecting it. We were at an event and they just handed it to me, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is the nicest thing someone's ever given me." It was really well done. It was it was kind of comic-y, and I just really liked it. And it's small and simple, super sentimental about it. And I really like it. And then the worst gift I've ever received. This was actually pretty funny. It was my housewarming for this apartment. And my cousin comes up to me and he's like all excited. And he's like, "Yo, man, got you an awesome gift. Guy living on your own in the city, giving you what every guy on their own needs." And he hands me like the industrial sized George Foreman grill.
Yeah.
That's a fire gift. That ain't the worst gift ever.
Hold on, Jeff. I'm not done yet.
Come on.
I looked right at it. Looked at him, and I'm like, "Bro, I gifted that to you at your wedding 2 years ago."
Oh no!
The
And he looked at me, he's
recycled
like,
gift.
and he's like, "No, you didn't, man." I'm like, "No, this is the exact one I bought you. The box is even dented in the corner." And then he was just like, "Oh man, it's not that bad. We regifted it. I regifted it to someone else, and they loved it."
Oh
So,
my God! It's the gift.
circle of life
Look,
on
we
that
all
film.
know the George Foreman grill is the gift that just keeps on giving.
The little one was great, but this one was like the giant one that you cook for like an entire
You're
industrial-sized
roasting
family.
a turkey
That's
on
the
that
one
thing.
for men. That's the one for men, bro. I would have been
How
grilling
many burgers
the
am
fuck
I
out of that
gonna?
thing.
How many burgers am I gonna make in a night for myself?
I
man?
would have been fucking grilling the shit out of it. I'd been like, "Boys, UFC night on me, grilling on the fucking industrial size Foreman
Can you imagine
grill.
it's like the
Get
size?
it."
Can you imagine it's the size of a barbecue and it's got like a big handle in front? You can use two
Why is that
hands.
not a thing? Why is that not a thing?
The thing is like a foot and a half, at least.
Why
a foot
is that
and a
not a
half
thing?
in
Well,
diameter?
missed opportunity. We need to go into business. We need to make a George Foreman grill ripoff. The patent's probably died by now. It has to be in some way, shape, or form. And it's the size of a barbecue. Done.
There it is.
You're cooking.
All right.
You're cooking 3 packages of Costco hamburgers at one time. Easy.
Let me
Easy
go grab
peasy.
that piece of art off the wall real quick while you guys pick the
Yeah.
next one.
All right.
All right, Adam, go ahead and
yep.
pick it.
It's the last one. We're gonna go with because it's relatively easy one to answer. We might have answered this in the past, but I don't know. Probably just obtusely, like off to the side of another question. Mark asks, honestly, do you guys ever have the time to watch other streams? And if you do, who do you watch?
let's see Panic's painting here first. Let's
Yeah, it's
see
because
this
the
Panic.
yeah.
We get a close up.
Trying to get it without the lighting.
There
but
we
I
go.
can't-
Yeah, the light kind of makes it difficult.
Yeah, it's
I like how Nova looks particularly concerned about whoever
can
she's
see me
shooting
in there.
right now.
Dude, this
I can
is
see
all
me.
Kerrigan. All Kerrigan. So that's Kerrigan before train.
Yeah, that's dope.
Oh yeah.
There's crazy levels of detail. Like there's like rain talking to like before she got it. The drop ship up here is the one.
Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah. We're hearing basically nothing you're saying right now because you're 4 feet
It's
from
all
your
good.
mic. But
My bad.
it's a beautiful piece of work, to say the least. We're talking about. Mark says, honestly, do you guys ever have the time to watch other streams? And if you do, who do you watch?
Who wants to start? Panic, you go ahead.
Who do I watch? Nathanius, obviously. He's my boy. I watch Jeff on occasion. Who else do I watch? There's this streamer. He's actually really awesome. I don't know if a lot of people know him, but his name is Das Valdez. He does Kerbal Space Program. But he does
yes.
he does like super educational. He's got like a very like chill vibe stream, but it's just chill to watch. He goes through like the entire process. He also travels a lot, so he'll go to like the actual SpaceX launches and the orbital ATK launches, and he'll like stream live from there, and he'll actually like go to like a lot of the space stuff. So for me, that's actually really cool to watch.
That's pretty awesome. What about you, Jeff?
I actually don't watch a lot of Twitch at all. I prefer to just not be on Twitch. It reminds me of work, and typically when I'm not streaming, I do not want to watch video games. I just don't. I will occasionally watch StarCraft. So if Rotterdam is streaming or Nathanius is streaming, really anybody. If when I'm in the mood to watch StarCraft, it's really whoever's at the top. Like I'll just, unless there's a familiar face that I know, I'll watch their stream. That is the extent of my video game watching. But I do watch at least 10 hours a week of poker streams. So even when I'm streaming, I will typically have Kevin Martin on another monitor, or Dramatic Degen, or Poker Staples, somebody like that. And I don't listen, but I don't need to listen. I'm just there to like kind of look to the right. If there's a crazy hand, I'll kind of look. But if I'm not streaming, I'll have any of those poker guys up. And I probably will tonight after we're done streaming this, and I'll do whatever other work I'm doing, and that'll be sort of my entertainment. So although it is on Twitch, it's not gaming related. When you game all day, you don't really want to watch more games. And of course, I'll watch Adam. Like if I'm doing nothing, I'm usually just lurking Adam's stream. That's probably Adam's definitely the most like the gamer that I'll watch the most in a run of a week. But beyond that, I just
Kyle Landry piano.
I do listen to him too. Actually,
Beastall
Beastall got me on him. He posted his shit, and I actually subbed to his channel, and I actually listened to his piano music pretty often, like just chilling. I'll listen to some of his music. So yeah, most of it is non-gaming related, unless it's Adam or the occasional StarCraft stream. And I have to be in a mood for StarCraft. I just do. Adam's like a default, and then it's always poker streams.
Yeah, in a similar vein to Jeff, I'm typically only watching streams if I'm doing some sort of other work at the same time. It's uncommon for me to sit down, have nothing else be going on, and for me to decide that the thing I'm going to do is watch a live stream. It happens on occasion, but it's not very frequently. So yeah, usually it's being used for some sort of background noise or for something else for me to just keep my attention every now and then. I watch Jeff. I watch Dr. Disrespect quite a bit these days because he's just honestly fucking crazy entertaining. So I'll watch him quite a bit. I'll watch. There's a couple other PUBG streamers that I've watched as well, just on the side when I was really into PUBG and I was watching other people play it. Like Viz, who's I believe he's another Canadian guy actually, who's on TSM, like a TSM subsection. I watch Bob Ross a lot in the background.
Can't go wrong with Bob Ross.
You can't go wrong. You put Bob Ross on the background; it's just great background noise. So I watch him.
He's medicinal, man. He's medicinal.
Absolutely,
very, very zen.
It really is.
Absolutely.
I feel like if Adam were to like sit down with like a canvas and paint in front of him with no actual Bob Ross, he'd just be able to like go into the zen mode and just paint the perfect picture.
I don't know. Bob Ross's voice is just so much softer. It's just there's something about his voice. He just nailed it. But yeah, so I watch Bob, old Bobby. And then other than that, I will hop streams. Like sometimes I'll just sit down and be like, I kind of feel like watching X game, and I'll just go find somebody. It doesn't really matter who it is. Like today, for the first time in a long time, I watched League of Legends because I'm a Cutie Pie was streaming, and he's also like one note chill, and I just needed some background noise, and so I tossed him on. So yeah, I bounce around a lot, but the mainstays are Jeff and Bob Ross and Dr. Disrespect. Just those
over
and over again. Oh, I also shout out Pulse Effects. I watch him. He does speed runs of Pokemon games, and he's a really good dude, really nice guy, and puts on a good show there. So I'll watch him do runs of Pokemon, and he has a fun community. So yeah, those are pretty much what I watch. But again, like Jeff said, when you stream all day, it's pretty rare to want to do nothing else but watch a stream. It's pretty uncommon. So it's usually tied to some other work or something along those lines. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for this episode. We are coming in at the recording time, a couple minutes for the intro. I'd say 2 hours, 10 minutes.
There you go. Nice. I think this is the perfect length for a podcast. I just do.
Yeah. So we're gonna try and nail that down. If you guys watch this on a platform, either here on Twitch or on YouTube, you can let us know how you feel about us going back to this. I think it makes lots of sense. I think it's going to work really well. Let me know, for the tech guy, how. I know in the beginning of this podcast I was going to be, or I was probably considerably louder than these two gentlemen. So let me know how it went afterwards. And then other than that, yeah, here we are. 2 and a bit hour format. I think it's going to work well. Head on over to technicalalpha.audio. You can check out everything you might want to know about the podcast there. Spread the word. Let other people know about the podcast. It really does go a long way to growing us here, because until we really get settled down, and believe it or not, despite we're this many months in, we're still settling into this podcast thing, as you can tell by the fact we're changing the format again. We'll eventually get back to bringing on guests and expanding the community that way, but keep telling other people that you think might like the podcast, and we'll definitely grow that way as well. Thank you so much for listening. Time to get over onto that end screen and give shout outs to our Patreon producers. As always, Jetrix and Mr. Miyagi. $500 a piece for multiple months. The madness just doesn't seem to stop. Postal Panda also in the multiple month slot, hitting up the 250, and then a whole host of guys 8, 7, 9 months deep at the $100 slot. Jamaican Jazz, Adam B, Toad of Steel, Naily, Derek P, Pricey, fuck, I need to go to bed. Fricey, Ice Wolfie, Jorbach, Lars M, and the new guy for this week, Matthew M. Thank you, each and every one, for for bringing the heat, because this is the crew getting us real close to that D&D segment, and I can smell it. I can smell the body odor, Mountain Dew, and dice from here. It's coming. It's coming. But thank you very much, guys, for listening. Really do appreciate it. Thank you once again, as always. We'll be back next week, same time as always, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. If you want to watch us, head on over to head on over to our live stream at twitch.tv/technicalalpha. We'd love to see you there. And until we do see you next time, peace.
Bye.